The cultural variety that characterizes Trentino Alto Adige began after the end of the First World War, which saw the Austro-Hungarian Empire lose and the consequent annexation of part of Tyrol to Italy, that is the part of territory that today we know as Alto Adige. However, it was decided to divide the territory following the natural line of watershed instead of paying attention to the clear linguistic border. With the advent of fascism, it became of primary importance to resolve what was called the South Tyrolean issue and make also that part of territory completely Italian. All the measures taken in favor of inhabitants of South Tyrol by King Vittorio Emanuele III were abolished, starting with the abolition of Corbino law, which provided for mother tongue teaching for linguistic minorities. On 5 July 1923, Ettore Tolomei, representative of Italian irredentism, presented a 32-point Italianization program aimed at politically and culturally re-educating German-speaking inhabitants. After the rise of Hitler, it was decided to close the issue and let the inhabitants of Südtirol choose whether to stay in Italy, renouncing to be a linguistic minority, or become German citizens, moving to the territories of the Third Reich. At the end of the so-called options, 185,365 opted for Germany, while 81,900 opted for Italy. After the end of the Second World War, the Paris Agreement was signed between Italy and Austria. On February 26, 1948, Italy issued the first status of autonomy, which was not appreciated by the inhabitants of Südtirol, because it extended to the entire province of Trento, so once again the Südtirolians represented a minority. After years of tensions, in 1960 the matter passed into the hands of UN, which decided to draw up a package containing various measures in favor of Südtirol, establishing an operational calendar of 18 points. The new status of autonomy came into force on 20 January 1972 and currently includes 115 articles. In 1998, the European Charter for Regional and Minority Languages officially came into force. It promotes and encourages the promotion of regional and minority languages as elements of the cultural heritage at risk of extinction, respecting fully the motto of European Union, United in Diversity. In particular for Trentino Alto Adige, the protection of linguistic minorities is well regulated by the Status of Autonomy. Article 19 of the Status of Autonomy regulates the management of public schools. In Trentino Alto Adige there are two types of school, German and Italian. The inhabitants can choose both schools regardless of the language group they are registered with. The language that is not chosen as the mother tongue is taught as a second language in both schools. The Status of Autonomy also deals with the management of the use of the language in public services, in healthcare, and in the armed forces. In general, in the bilingual administrative acts, both versions, Italian and German, must be reported side by side with the same size and the same topographical surveys. It is not enough to report the German translation in smaller characters following the Italian one. One of the situations in which bilingualism is not yet well regulated is toponymy, which is still today a very sensitive issue. The nomenclature in the Italian language still has an official character, despite the fact that some of the place names born during the fascist era have never entered in the use of everyday life. The fact that the question is still open is testified by the protest of the Schutzen, South Tyrolean feathered heads, who on August 16, 2019, the date that corresponds to the Ettore Tolomei's birthday, covered the German toponym on more than 600 road signs with the inscription DNA seit 97 Jahren, or unofficial German for 97 years. In order to reach the real cultural belonging of the inhabitants of Trentino Alto Adige, I decided to analyze the Collipsi II study of EURAC, which was carried out with a group of South Tyrolean students, German, Italian, and bilingual. What has emerged is that the society of Trentino Alto Adige leads citizens to feel part of a group or another because of the geographical distribution, but also because of the administrative management. According to Italian students, the factors of detachment between the two groups are mentality and attitudes, while for German students they are culture and values. Almost two-fifths of the entire sample say they have no friendship in the other group, while those who claim to have admitted that they rarely see else two friends. For the rest of the students who claim to have friendships, it was interesting to understand in which language they choose to interact. Italians are the ones who use their mother tongue most with their German friends, because they are convinced that they know Italian better than they know German. Among the German students who use their mother tongue in their relationship with their Italian friends, the motivation is the sense of security that comes with the use of their mother tongue, and also the habit of their Italian friends of speaking to them in German. Another important element is the lack of knowledge by the Italian group of the South Italian dialect. It seems that German students do not like to use standard German in everyday life and therefore prefer to speak to Italian friends in Italian. In conclusion, I had the opportunity to conduct two interviews with two South Tyrolean citizens, both of whom are native German speakers. The first girl interviewed communicated with me in Italian, but she has repeatedly presented grammatical errors. This girl also claims to have more German-speaking friends, but that speaking both languages is a huge help for her, especially at work. Otherwise, she says, both Italian and German-speaking people work in my company. If I didn't speak Italian or German, I would have to speak English with the half of the employees. Despite this, she admits that in some areas there is a great separation between the two groups. She says, in some areas there is a great separation between the two language groups, but I think it's inevitable. I think there will always be German and Italian schools in our region, German and Italian films in cinemas. However, I don't think the coexistence is forced. Even if two language groups don't always mix perfectly, coexistence is very normal. The other girl interviewed is a famous tennis player Karin Knapp, who for work reasons now lives in Anzio in Lazio. Perhaps for these reasons her Italian is much more fluent than the other girl interviewed. Karin also admits that being bilingual is a source of wealth for her and says she's proud to grow up her daughter in bilingualism. Both girls interviewed say that young people in their region are very interested in learning both languages, and to the question, do you think bilingualism in Trentino Alto Adige is disappearing, they answer negatively, giving hope for a more cozy future for the region and its inhabitants.